Hi, Ram55 here, and thanks for tuning in. Welcome to session number 17 of my Tidewater Railroad by Jointed Rail. On my last video, I gave a tour of the latest changes I made to the route. But after it was published and up on YouTube, I really wasn't very happy with it. I recorded my narrative while I made the video, and to tell you the truth, I'm really not very good at that. It made the editing rather awkward and very choppy, and anyways, wasn't happy with the way it turned out. There was a couple times where I put up a scene wanting to show some of the changes I made by adding some suburbs to the areas at both Tidewater and River Point, but the video didn't get put into the recording didn't get put into the video, so kind of frustrating. Anyways, that's all behind us now. That's just the way it is. Today we're getting back into operations, and Andrew will be driving a couple of SD40-2s on a local run to the industries up to the north. Now this video turned out to be pretty long. It's right around an hour long, and I don't like my videos to be that long. And I debated, well, do I just make it one long video and you guys can stop and come back to it at a second point, or what I eventually did was just chop it up into two parts, and that way you can watch one part or the other, and if you want, you can come back and watch them both back to back to see the whole thing. It's all up to you. So here's Andrew bringing his locomotives out of the barn. He's entering the yard, and he's going to go grab onto those cars that he's going to be taking up to the north. So Andrew's going to go grab onto and pull the cars out of the yard that Jane put together from the Norfolk Southern Manifest train. The consist he's going to be hauling today is really short, and I'm going to try to keep my commentary rather short as well. I'm going to let the video do the talking for me. Let the pictures tell the story. While we're watching this, I want to express my disdain for Cyberlink. That's the software company that makes Power Director, which is what I use to edit my videos with. And I've been using Power Director 12. So when I opened up that program to edit this video, there was a pop-up message saying, hey, free upgrade to Power Director 365. I said, sure, I'll take a free upgrade. Maybe there's more features that I can use. So I did. I upgraded and produced the video, and it takes quite a while to edit, splice, overdub, put in special comments and all that. Well, little did I know that when I went to produce the video and save it in MP4 format, that the new Power Director 365 puts a watermark on your video. And it looks crappy. And it's not what I want. And if you want to get rid of that watermark, you have to pay a monthly fee to Cyberlink for the privilege of using their software. Well, not only that, it also changes the format of the video. So it was not the stuff that I made was not backward compatible to Power Director 12. So I had to do this whole video, the editing, the overdubbing, all over again. Talk about frustrating and talk about angry. So I'd be interested in hearing from you guys. How do you use the Tidewater Railroad? What company of locomotive do you use? Do you use Tidewater? Do you use CSX? Burlington Northern? Yeah, let me know in the comments how you use this railroad. Be really interested to hear. Now up to the right you can see the first industry that we're going to be serving. That's the Woodhaven Fuel Depot or fuel terminal. It's only about a mile or two down from Tidewater, so we get to it fairly quickly. And throughout this video and the next video, as a matter of fact, which will be part 2 of the local run, you see how, my interpretation of how best to serve these industries and switch the cars. Leave me your comments on how you would do it, things that you would do differently. Really interested in get a conversation going on the operations on your Tidewater Railroad. Now, since Tidewater doesn't have a whole lot of traffic, we only have a few trains going between Tidewater and River Point a day. Andrew can leave those cars on the main line. Plus, he's going to be in contact on the radio with the dispatcher and the controller, letting them know, just in case they have an extra train for some reason, that there's some cars on the main and the route is blocked. Now the reason I put this siding in right here is that when you're switching the Woodhaven fuel terminal or the Tidewater Mills area for that matter, as you're shuffling the cars around, you're going to need a siding to run around and also put the cars on while you're moving cars in and out of these industries. So it really does come in handy, and I used it later in this video. Now, I believe in general, railroads will put the cars that they're switching into an industry at the head end of the train. In other words, up close to the locomotive. That way they don't have to take the entire consist with them as they're going in and out of these spurs. As a result, you know, you'll leave some cars on the main line or back on a spur leading up to where they're going to be switched. Now, a funny thing happened here, and a little bit embarrassing. When I cut these cars loose here, I didn't realize I was on a slope. And those cars started to roll back downhill. I had to actually go back and grab them and bring them back to where I wanted to spot them. That's why there was that little jump there in the video. Really got my attention. And I found out the hard way, when you put the locomotive brake on, which is the little bar to the far right bottom on the video screen there, that just applies the brakes to the locomotive. It doesn't apply the brakes to the train. If you want to apply the train brakes, which is the one with that little red triangle shaped thing, that applies the brakes to every car. So when you uncouple them, the brakes are set. Now when you use the DCC control, like a toy train, you hit the A button and you'll apply the handbrakes. You don't have that option using realistic control. So you got to set the train brake, uncouple your cars, and that will set the handbrake for you. Now, Graham is sitting in that GP38-2 there, and he is ordinarily the one that would be switching both Tidewater Mills, Frank's Co-op, and the Woodhaven Fuel Terminal, and all these industries up in this area. But since we're only spotting one car, Andrew's going to actually spot it underneath the chute to be loaded and save a little bit of time. So these local trains not only deliver new cars to the industries that they're serving, they are also picking up the cars that are ready to be picked up and brought back to the yard. So next on Andrew's list is to pick up these loaded grain hoppers over here to the left to be brought back to the Tidewater yard. Andrew's last task in part 1 of this video is to serve the Frank's Co-op. He's got 2 full hoppers to pick up, and he'll also spot 2 empties. And this is where I had my second little incident with the brakes. When I spotted the empties underneath the chute for loading, they started to roll away. Well, thanks to the magic of editing, it never happened. I think I'd learned my lesson, but nope, did it again. I think now I have a much better understanding about applying the brakes and spotting cars. The real railroads actually have a procedure when they spot cars. They have to set the handbrake by hand, which is why they call it a handbrake, and they have to wait there for a minute to make sure that they're set and the cars aren't going anywhere. They can't just drive away. Now right here you can hear that the engine is really revved up a little bit because I'm using the dynamic brake of the engine to slow and control the cars coming down the hill. And when you use the dynamic brake, the more power you apply to the locomotive, the more braking effort you get from that locomotive. It's kind of like downshifting in a car or a motorcycle. You're actually using the electric energy to slow the train down without using the brakes. So Andrew's picking up the loaded hoppers here, and then he'll push back, grab those 2 empty hoppers that he spotted a while ago, and then drag them back up and put them underneath that chute. So we're coming up on the end of part 1 of this video. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate the comments everybody has been leaving. It's interesting to get into a conversation with some folks and find out what they're doing, where they're from, how they use the railroad. So give me a thumbs up, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I promise I'll be back with part 2 of this video very soon. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. About a week and a half ago, Gordon Lightfoot passed away. I grew up listening to all kinds of music. I got that eclectic interest in music from my dad. And in the late 60s, I had the pleasure of finding Gordon Lightfoot. I even had the pleasure of seeing him in concert. I absolutely love his music. I played his albums back when they were vinyl, for those of you who can remember that far back, until they were worn out. And when I taught myself to play guitar in the 80s, it was Gordon Lightfoot's music that I played. I was rather surprised at how saddened I was when he passed away. It really did affect me. Anyways, I just wanted to say thanks for all the stories, thanks for the melodies. There will never be another Gordon Lightfoot. Anyways, you guys take care.